I can't. Hey, welcome everybody. If you're on Kryptonic Media, hey, welcome Stephen Curry and Lindell Towson, Darius Gates. We're just getting started here on TikTok, as well as on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Let me start out by saying, if you're new to this Kryptonic Media or Crypto Kid TV, everything I'm saying you can find on YouTube. I have more than 30 years of investment experience. I'm a mathematician, investor, and blockchain creator. And I'm just kicking it to you guys live and real, not giving my opinions. I'm filtering my opinions, but just doing a recap. Right now, we're going to go through a market recap of where the financial markets are. On Friday today, which is Valentine's Day, the markets are on a positive note. So let's check out where they are first, starting with Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin is up $1,357 to the price of $98,000. So Bitcoin is trending upward. Let's check out Ethereum. Ethereum should be up as well. And the price of Ethereum is up $62.76 to the price of $2,739. Please send it out to the TikTok universe. That way more people will know about it. And I'm expecting the S&P 500 to be up as well. And, well, hey, it is, but not only by 75 pennies. So the S&P 500 is up 75 cents to the price of $6,136. And finally, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up. Oh, it's down. So the Dow Jones Industrial Average is going contrary to the S&P 500 in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Dow Jones Industrial Average is down $44,582 and to the price of $44,582. Dow Jones is simply down $128.57. So let's discuss, let's get straight to it. Today, if you've been following since President Trump's inauguration, you'll notice that on day one, he began signing executive orders, trying to redo what Joe Biden had redone of his previous work. And there's been more than 15 injunctions by different activist judges. We'll get into that. And you know what? I know this is bad etiquette for me as the podcaster to go out of the camera, but that's what you can do when you're at home. Because I'm going to get the American Constitution for you. And this is going to be awesome. I have it right here. And I want to, here I am, I'm back already. So this is shout out to Charlie Kirk in Turning Point. So I received this from Charlie Kirk of Turning Point. And what do I have in my hands, boys and girls? This is the American Constitution, and I'm a constitutionalist. I'm a mathematician. I was going to go back and do a master's in software engineering, and then finish up my PhD in mathematics. But right now, this country is in need of constitutional lawyers. Washington is flooded both with the Democrats and Republicans of people that have simply gone to law school. And I know I had that opportunity 20 years ago to go to law school, but I had never thought about going to law school mainly and solely. I'm from the Bay Area, so I could have worked with Dianne Feinstein, and I could have become a lifetime or a career politician like Dianne Feinstein ended up doing, and do 20 years in Washington, make $150,000, $200,000, never actually practiced law, never passed the bar exam in any state. And then somehow, because I'm a part of Congress, I end up being worth $20-30 million. I'm glad that never occurred to me. That's not my nature. I'm not cut from that kind of cloth. But I think all people who do that, Democrats and Republicans, and there's a lot on both sides, they're just a drain on our American Constitution. And one of the things I'm telling you guys, and this is no fault of yours, is that if you read the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin, when he's talking about them trying to draft the American Constitution and it taking like 2 to 3 months to do, everybody that was a part of the American Constitution drawing it up, including Benjamin Franklin himself, was a wealthy landowner. And he was looking at, okay, this is what we did to rebel against King George. And these are the taxes that he put on us as a monarchy. And these are the things that we want to avoid. One of the main things Benjamin Franklin said is we want to avoid one day when all of the people here who are making the Constitution, the wealthy landowners, become the controllers of the government. So he was saying, look, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, myself, Patrick Henry, John Hancock, everybody that signed the Declaration of Independence, we're all wealthy. We all own a lot of land, and we rebelled against the king for a variety of reasons. That's my dog scratching at the door. He's just going to have to wait. And we want to make it to where Congress in Washington is not controlled by us. But lo and behold, that's what's going on right now. If we look at where we are today, Benjamin Franklin would be very disappointed with the United States of America. And he would say, Congress, you guys haven't followed any of the Constitution the way we laid it out. You guys have used the American coffers, the American purse, to enrich yourselves, to become a military industrial complex, to cause war all throughout the world and enrich yourselves in the process and getting kickbacks. And this goes to Donald Trump and his new executive orders. His executive orders and his goal with Doge was to do an audit, because for all you, like, especially you guys on TikTok, you guys are too young. You guys don't remember the 1980s. You don't remember 1986 with Vice President George Herbert Walker Bush and Oliver North being caught up in the Iran-Contra scandal between the Ayatollah of Iran and Saddam Hussein of Iraq. And Oliver North got caught selling weapons to both the Ayatollah of Iran and Saddam Hussein, in addition to some other people. And he was in business with George Herbert Walker Bush, the vice president, when Ronald Reagan was president. And what did Ronald Reagan say? I didn't know that the vice president and the General Oliver North were selling weapons. And that is what Doge is doing. And that is why the Pentagon cannot pass an audit, because the Pentagon is selling weapons to anybody that has money. This is the reality of it. The Pentagon is selling weapons to anybody that has money, whether it's Saddam Hussein, whether it's the Ayatollah, whether it's somebody in Brazil, in Venezuela, in Germany, to the Ukrainians. Anybody that Congress can sell weapons to, Congress is going to do that in cahoots with the Pentagon. And the process is endless war. Like me, my entire life, the Middle East has been at war. It never stops. You can't go 12 months in the Middle East without peace. And it's sad. You know, for like 40, 50 years, you can't just go 12 months with some peace in the Middle East. And now we find out that the United States is in the background stirring up the pot with Congress and USAID and all of this stuff. So what does President Trump do? He says, I'm going to sign some executive orders. We're going to go in and audit all these different agencies. And what did the judges do? No, you cannot audit. We don't want anybody to know where this money is going and where it's coming from. So the judges have stepped in. You have to like a judge is supposed to discern and show good judgment. So when a judge puts an injunction, a court order to stop the executive branch from auditing its own internal branches, like the court, the federal court, the federal judge has overstepped their bounds. They're taking authorities that they don't even have. Let's be real about it. The federal judge, all these federal judges that have put court orders blocking the president, who is the supreme executive figure, from auditing his internal executive branches, no judge has that authority. And that is why I have the American Constitution in front of me. So let me find Article 2. All right, boys and girls, I'm giving you a history lesson. We're going to get to Article 2. All right. Okay, let's go to Article 1. Let's go to Article 1, and then we're going to go to Article 2. All right, boys and girls. So let me just, I'm going through this. I want to thank Charlie Kirk. Of Turning Point. All right. Okay, boys and girls, I found it. The boy went to college. The boy went to college. Okay, first I'm going to read Article 1 so you understand Article 1, 2, and 3 of the American Constitution. Please hang around so you can learn some history lessons, boys and girls. If not, you can watch it recorded on YouTube. So let me get into Article 1, boys and girls. Article 1, Section 1. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and House of Representatives. You get that? Article 1, Section 1, boys and girls, let's review it again. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and House of Representatives. Okay, now let's go to Article 2, boys and girls. The executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States of America. He shall hold his office during the term of 4 years, and together with the vice president chosen for the same term, be elected as follows. So I don't need to go into all of it, but this is Article 2, Section 1. Now let's go into Article 3, Section 1. The same thing, talking about the Supreme Court. Article 3, Section 1 of the American Constitution. The judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court, and in such inferior courts as the Congress may have from time to time, certain and established. The judges both of the Supreme inferior courts shall hold their offices during good behavior, and shall at stated times receive for their services a compensation which shall not be dismissed during their continuance in office. Okay, so I'm letting you all know right now, everybody, this Article 1, 2, and 3 is the establishment of a legislative branch, which is Congress, and Article 2 is the establishment of an executive branch, which is the president, and Article 3 is the establishment of a Supreme Court and inferior courts. Therefore, we have these federal inferior courts, judges, trying to stop the power of the Supreme Executive Branch, in which they have no authority to do so. And so President Trump is challenging that notion by signing additional executive orders. Now, with that being said, let's go in and find out what is going on. Okay, and now I'm going to go in, and this was live earlier because of copyright limitations. Everybody on Kryptonic Media and TikTok, I cannot show you any of what is being said on YouTube, but for those people, Okay, these are remarks. So this is going to be quite boring. I'm going to skip that, everybody. I'm just going to leave it at the point in the fact that President Trump has signed additional executive orders. I think it would be boring and ill-fitted to try to show something live of him just making remarks. So with that, everybody, thank you for tuning in. If you have some comments and everything, thank you. I'm just kicking it to you guys live. Now, with that being said, before I leave, I'm going to finish out and I'm going to help you guys understand. The reason why the Democrats are panicking is because, like I said earlier, that we're going to find out a lot of names of people that are receiving compensation through USAID and other branches of the federal government that they shouldn't be receiving. And so that gravy train is being cut, and it's going to affect a lot of people, not people. And because what our government has become is a large bureaucracy of unelected people that are placing our country into a deficit. Like we have FEMA, and FEMA said they had no money for North Carolina, but then last week they released a check for $59 million to house illegal immigrants in Manhattan. And FEMA has no authority to give out any money on behalf of disaster relief to house illegal aliens. So this is the corruption that is being discovered by Doge and Elon Musk. And that is why so many of the Democrats are up in arms. And so so judges are placing injunctions because we're finding out that a lot of people, what's going on specifically in Congress is a lot of Democrats and some Republicans have a lot of shell companies that are nonprofit 501Cs. And so a lot of members of Congress, both Democrat and Republican, have set, because they're attorneys, they've established nonprofit 501c companies, and they may say, hey, we're feeding people in Rwanda, we're treating AIDS in Uganda, we're helping people in Iraq, we're getting fresh water for people in Africa and in Venezuela. And then they hire their family members, their fraternity brothers and sisters, anybody they went to college with. Then these people write in six-figure salaries for themselves. They travel first class all over Europe, Africa, Asia, the Middle East, and 70 and 80% of their budget, it goes to their salaries. And whatever they said, hey, we're going to try to cure something in a foreign country, like 10% of their money actually goes to doing that. And what we're finding out is a lot of these companies are also government contractors for military defense, and they're sending the money to Ukraine. And that's why the Ukraine is getting billions and billions of dollars. And it's these shell companies. And we're finding out that Ukraine is pretty much the most corrupt country on earth. And so the United States, through USAID and other avenues, are sending this money to the Ukraine. The money is going to all these corrupt people. And then people in Congress, both Democrats and Republicans, are getting a kickback. And that's why they're going crazy over USAID being audited. They're going, we don't need FEMA. We don't need the Department of Homeland Security. We don't need the Department of Education. Those companies, those entities need to be chopped up and dispersed. And too much wasteful money is going to them. And then with USAID, we don't need that. And we're finding out very little of the money is going to whatever they said they're doing. And so for a judge to step in and say, well, people can't get medicine and people can't get help in a foreign country, that's a lie. The judge is in on the lie too. Whoever that judge was that put the injunction, they're a part of the lie too. And that's the misnomer, is that a judge is supposed to discern judgment. And what are they doing? They're playing political games. And that is why, let me read to you Article 3. And we're going to remove these knuckleheads, all these judges that are being questionable. And you two on YouTube and Eric, stop going away. Listen to what I'm saying here. So we're going to read Article 3, Section 1. The judicial branch of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as the Congress may find from time to time, ordain, and establish. The judges both of the Supreme and inferior courts shall hold their offices during good behavior and shall at stated times receive for their services a compensation which shall not be diminished during their continuance in office. That means you can only hold your position in court and as a judge if you do it in good behavior. So let me read to you so you guys all understand the absurdity about what is going on here. Article 1, Section 1. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and House of Representatives. Now let me get to Article 2, which establishes a president. The executive branch. Let's get to it. Okay, but there we go. Article 2, Section 1. The executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States of America. He shall hold his office during the term of 4 years, and together with the vice president chosen for the same term be elected as follows. We don't need to go into the details of being elected. And then let's skip to Article 3. The judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as the Congress may find from time to time, ordain, and establish. The judges both of the Supreme and inferior courts shall hold their offices during good behavior and shall at stated times receive for the services a compensation which shall not be diminished during their continuance in office. That means that no inferior court, no circuit court federal judge has the authority to block, the powers and interests of the executive branch. Only the Supreme Court can do that. So if a president wants to do something and some local idiot judge in New York wants to block it at the federal, I'm a federal judge at a local level, and in the middle of the night, mysteriously, it falls on my lap that they want, that these people feel that what the president is doing to stop USAID is wrong. How come they didn't show up during the day? How come they conveniently showed up at 1:30 a.m. Saturday morning while people were still partying in New York at clubs and bars and say, hey, Judge, we'd like you to take a look at this? And they didn't even try to contact the White House president, White House attorney, which could have immediately zoomed in on Zoom call and addressed any of this. So this is the corruption at which level our courts have began to engage in. And as it says in Article 3, Section 1, the Supreme Court judges in inferior courts shall be in office as long as they act in good behavior. And judges at the lower level of the inferior federal courts blocking the executive branch without giving true constitutional reasons why they're doing that is not acting in good behavior. Those are grounds for dismissal from these positions. So all of these judges need to be examined and at least removed temporarily until we can find a way to then remove them permanently. They are not acting in good behavior, and that is why President Donald Trump has signed additional executive orders. We need to wait later on today to find out the details of those executive orders. I love listening to Stephen Gardner on YouTube, and I'm not sure else where he is, but Stephen Gardner is a credible source of information. The Democrats are also having a meltdown because those of you guys who are watching me on Kryptonic Media on TikTok, here on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, this is social media. So CNN, MSNBC, ABC, nobody's watching you anymore because you no longer control the narrative and you've lost your credibility. Okay, that's it right there. So with that, this is Kryptonic Media and Crypto Kid TV. Thank you for being here. I'm going live later on talking about health and fitness and vitamin supplements. So join me there. Make sure you follow me and subscribe. That way you get the notification the next time I go live. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And remember, the future is crypto.